Good morning, Hope. Today's psalm is Psalm 24. And Psalm 24 focuses on the majesty of Yahweh and his sovereign rule. So let's get to it. Psalm 24 is a psalm of David, verse 1. The Lord owns the earth and all it contains, the world and all who live in it. For he set its foundation upon the seas and established it upon the ocean currents. I think that's a good reminder for us in this day, this time, this season that we find ourselves in with a transition of authority, or at least uncertain leadership at the very least. And we're reminded here that God, Yahweh, he owns the earth, the world. We have, parallelism going on here, all that it contains and all who live in it. We belong to him. There's no authority on this earth that's outside of his power, outside of his authority. And verse 2 tells us why, because he set the foundation. He's the one that established it. He created creation. He created all things. Thus, he has the right to it. And he's also, he is all powerful too. Continuing on in verse 3, who is allowed to ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may go up to his holy dwelling place? The one whose deeds are blameless and whose motives are pure, who does not lie or make promises with no intention of keeping them. Those would be hypocrites. Verse 5, such godly people are rewarded by the Lord and vindicated by the God who delivers them. Such purity characterizes the people who seek his favor, Jacob's descendants who pray to him. And so there, verse 3 through 6, we hear about how the pure in heart, those who are blameless before God, who are blameless because of the work of Christ, because of their faith that they put in God, who are honest about their sins before God, they are the ones who receive the blessing of Yahweh, who are able to enter into the presence of God. And then the final 4 verses, it goes back to how Yahweh is the King of glory. Verse 7, look up, you gates, rise up, you eternal doors. Then the majestic King will enter. Now, when it says the majestic King, we can understand that to also to be the King of glory in the Hebrew, literally, the King of glory, but it's often translated as majestic King. So when we read the majestic King, think of the King of glory, kind of like the Third Day song, the King of glory. It might be based off of this song. I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to that song again. Continuing on, who is this majestic King? Who is this King of glory? The Lord who is strong and mighty. The Lord who is mighty in battle. So the God, Yahweh, who is powerful, strong, sovereign, and who fights for us. Look up, you gates. Rise up, you eternal doors. Then the majestic King will enter. Who is this majestic King? The Lord who commands armies. He is the majestic King. One thing I do want to note here, I think the psalm does a good job with parallelism and also repetition. Sometimes repetition in Christian music, especially nowadays, gets a bad reputation, and perhaps that's because that's all the song is repetition with no meat to it. But the songs clearly have repetition in it. There's value in repetition, as we see in here. It emphasizes a truth, a point, and it helps the reader, the hearer, the singer to retain what is repeated. So repetition is good when it's not abused. So that's Psalm 24, reminding us that all things belong to Yahweh. He oversees all things. We continue to trust in him. If we remain blameless, if we ourselves remain in Christ, we can enter into his presence. He will bless us because of that. And we can trust in him as he will fight our battles for us. He is strong and mighty. There's nothing that's going to happen on this earth outside of his sovereign rule and power. So tomorrow we'll have Psalm 25. I would encourage you to read the psalm beforehand. I'm debating about reading all the psalms as I go through them, especially when we get to Psalm 119. So if you can read the psalm beforehand, it would bless the video, your experience with the video more richly. All right, God bless and have a good day.